All right. How did you go with that, guys? Ooh, I mean, flower fan, is it? I'm not sure, but it looks kind of fascinating. Thanks for sharing that, Dylan. Did anyone else have a cool way to enjoy flowers in their home that they could share? Oh, looks like
Ooh, a planter. Nice.
amazing. Alrighty, so what was the point of that exercise, GChan? Well, basically, you
Yeah,
know,
or are you
sorry.
going to answer that?
No, I did ask you, and then I realized there was another slide. Here's some other ideas that other people came up with as well. And the point of that activity was what, GChan?
So in the first activity, we just asked you to design just a vase. But then in the second activity, we wanted you to keep a person in mind and an experience in mind. So I can see more people posting their things. So when you were designing these vases or these planter boxes, you probably were thinking either yourself or for someone who you think would actually enjoy it. So this is actually part of the fundamentals of design thinking. So
I love these ideas. These are great. Sorry.
yeah, these are lovely. And this one's sleeping on a flower bed. On the last one by Nina, I think.
The grow lights speed up the growth of the flower. Yeah, I don't know, but I love them all. They're great.
Yeah. So when you're coming up with ideas, you want to keep in mind a person or I don't want to go into too much depth because we're going to go through it a bit later, but just keeping someone in mind when you're designing anything.
And yeah, that is the basis of design thinking, like you said, GChan. And it was interesting when we asked a different question, what sort of a different answer we got as well, or how your mind was able to explore more possibilities by kind of changing the question that we were asking there.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, GChan, I know when I come to a hackathon, I've kind of got a limited time frame to get things done and maybe already an idea of what I want to build. So generally, I just want to crack on and get stuck into building something. Over the years, though, and many hackathons and startup ideas later, I've found out that design thinking isn't just another industry buzzword, but it's actually a super useful framework, as you probably discovered by just switching up your question there, to help you develop an idea and validate it before you start building. So, GChan, can you explain, well, you've already explained to me what design thinking is, and it basically, like you said, it means spending time understanding your users and validating your ideas before committing to developing a solution. So as we say, success is 90% preparation and 10% perspiration.
I love that quote.
So after all, we don't want our idea to end up on the startup version of Kitchen Nightmares. So this is why we do design thinking. So where do we start, GChan? We know what design thinking generally is now, but how do we start with this framework?
So the first thing that we want to do is actually write down and understand our intent, or basically identifying the right problem to solve. And it's basically the what of our who, what, when, where, why, etc. So
for this event, for this event, our intent is defined for us, really. So it's about creating a community-based platform that will assist the most vulnerable to conduct activities in their daily life during COVID-19, the problem statement. So that's it, right? I can start coding now, right, GChan?
Not yet. I mean, you could, but you might turn out to be something like this.
Yeah, I love this meme because it really describes how differently people can see things. And you even saw that in your activity as well. So, you know, without like really having a good idea of your user, without really getting in their mind, without really validating your idea, I really love this meme. This is what happens. So since we're probably not finished with this DT framework, what is next, GChan? Where do we go from here?
So we've worked out our what. So the next would be to work out our who. So once you've created that intent, or it's already been provided to you, you want to start creating a persona. And The idea of a persona is actually to understand a person's needs, motivations, and challenges. So you can think of a persona as a fake person that you're designing the solution for. And it will help you to focus your solutions on ideating around the problem that you've been provided.
Yeah, making sure this person would actually use something that you're building as well. So, quick activity time. What we are going to do is create a persona kind of like this one. So this is an example persona: name, gender, age, job, features, location, goals, education, and interests. And we're going to fill out our own persona for this one as well. So we're going to ask you in the chat, what do you want the name of this persona to be? And I'm actually going to have to go out of present mode to do this.
So it's going to be first in, first serve. So whoever comes up with a name first, we'll take that. First name is Jamie Domingo.
Jamie. Alrighty. Jamie.
I think that's a participant's name. So
yeah, it sure is, but all right. But let's try and make the rest of this not the same. Gender? Or gender neutral?
Yeah, I was going to say it could be undefined if you choose.
Who's no gender? I think I'm going to do an undefined gender in that case. Maybe that's what the silence is about. Age range. Who's got an age for me that they want to throw in the chat? 50 was first. 50 it is. Alrighty. Job? What do they do for a job, this person?
Jobless. Okay.
Okay.
Unemployed.
Do they have a side hustle or anything? Jobless / home gardener, I'll say.
Okay.
Maybe community gardener. That could be cool. I love those community gardens.
Yeah, much better than my dying succulents outside.
Okay, so features. So that means, what is it about this person that makes them this person? Are they chatty? Are they effervescent? Are they what sort of personality traits do they have? What have we got here?
They like spicy food.
That's probably more an interest, I think. So we'll put that down the bottom here.
Like their alone time. Okay, yeah. Some me time.
I love me some me time. Doesn't happen very often. What else have we got?
Kids live overseas, so he's kind of lonely. Okay, yep, great.
Okay, what about location? Where are we in the world with Jamie Domingo? I mean, he would be pretty lonely at Antarctica, but I feel like he wouldn't be jobless then. All right, we'll go with Antarctica. This is one of the most interesting personas I've made for a while. Antarctica. Can't spell. What are their goals? What do they want to do with themselves?
To eat lava in Antarctica?
It's going to be and climb. I like climb. And we'll put in climb Mount Everest there. I like that one. Eating.
Be less lonely.
Yep, sounds good.
Ooh, wants to be showcased in better homes and gardens. Oh, that's a great goal.
Awesome. I love that one. Okay.
To own the most dogs in the world. That's cute.
And better homes and gardens. Just going to acronym that one. And what about education? What sort of education has Jamie Domingo got? MBA, love it. So highly capable then. And a McCafe ambassador. Bachelor of Advanced Agriculture. I love that. So that'll probably do for them. Agree. That fits on there. So, all right. So we've created our persona now. And I am going to go back to present mode now that we've finalized that one. Awesome. So we have a very interesting character living in Antarctica. Is a community gardener, jobless, likes me time and spicy food. And, education, MBA, Bachelor of Arts Agriculture, and wants to be showcased on Better Homes and Gardens and climb Mount Everest. That is quite a character.
Yeah.
So basically, so these character versions of real users will help you focus your solutions on ideating around real problems. This one probably might not. We really want to find someone that, when we create our personas, the big idea is to make personas that are likely to use our products. So, for example, if you're creating a community app for the elderly, then one of your personas is probably someone who is elderly and where they live, and you want to really think through what they do with their day-to-day and what makes them tick. So what are their main goals, which maybe is to spend more time with their grandkids or to be less lonely, I think, like some people said there. Mm-hmm. So you want to create about 3 or 4 personas, and that way of your target users, and you want to try and create a broad selection. So you may also potentially have, an Indigenous person that wants to use your app as well. Their persona would be completely different probably to your elderly person's persona. Even 2 elderly persons' personas could be completely different if they live in their own house or if they're in care. So you really want to create about 3 or 4 of those. And then once we do have our personas, we want to develop an empathy map for our new persona. Is that right, GChan?
Yeah, so you can kind of think about empathy maps as stepping into your persona's shoes. So you really want to understand what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what are they saying, and what they're doing. And then that way it leads into the next thing very nicely. But that way you can understand the motivation and the goals of the user. So what does your persona or user want at the end of the day? And the best way to kind of describe this is actually using a concept called need statements.
And like you said, they help you reflect on the motivation and goals of the user, don't you?
Yeah, I was thinking way too far ahead. I was thinking of the next slide, actually.
Yep. Okay.
So after we've created those empathy maps, we create a need statement. So the need statement is always in the format of the user needs a way to do something that addresses their need so they can benefit directly. So if we kind of think about, I don't want to give you the answer, but I can give you like a generalized, a more broader thing is like the grandma needs a way to undefined. The undefined Jamie Domingo needs a way to spend more time with his kids so that what's the gender neutral term?
They
can be less lonely. So we've targeted, we've got our persona. We've spoke about how we could potentially address their need, and then we spoke about how they can actually benefit from it. So when basically you'll create some need statements, and these are going to be your ideas for your solution, basically.
Yeah, and this will be a brainstorming activity, really. So you'll try and create multiple need statements for your multiple personas. And, the sacred rule of brainstorming is basically there's no such thing as a bad idea. So we put Antarctica down, there's no such thing as a bad idea. But, by the time you kind of get to the end of this framework, you will probably realize that some of these ideas maybe aren't as useful as others. But it doesn't mean that any of them are a bad idea, because you never know where a brainstorming session might go and what new ideas it might bring up. So be open to new ideas. I love this slide. All you've done is chisel all days. Do something useful, like helping your brother drag those rocks up the hill. It's a wheel. This to me is a great ironic example of being open to new ways of thinking and how it could improve and expand on your solution. So instead, we really use kind of divergent and convergent thinking to transform our ideas to better solutions, right, GChan? So do you want to explain just quickly what we mean by divergent and convergent thinking?
Yeah, so divergent thinking is thinking quite broadly, and you've got to keep an open mind and basically considering everything and anything that is possible or impossible. So you're thinking about everything. And then once you've come up with all those crazy ideas, then convergent comes in. So divergent is opening up, and then convergent is kind of narrowing it down. So you're bringing the focus back and you're identifying key, maybe one or two, or maybe a bit three, key problems and solutions that that you want to focus on.
Awesome. All right. So we've done our need statements. What's next?
So it comes back to the convergent thinking. So a way to actually converge and pick what to focus on is actually to prioritize. And a great way to prioritize is actually a prioritization grid. And that's to sort tasks based on factors like time or importance. And yep, you've got a great photo there. So this is what it will kind of look like, but it might be a bit different if you're not going to be drawing. But basically, you're going to have you're going to decide between impact, and you're going to pick the one who has the most impact. You could just vote and be like, okay, I think that one is the most impactful. And then you got to also vote again. So you got to vote twice. First is impact, and second is feasibility.
And that's why you can see the green and yellow stickers on those Post-its there.
Yeah, so different votes. When you guys are doing this in your whiteboard, you could easily use I don't know, a red marker versus a green marker to identify the impact and feasibility. So feasibility is about, can you actually build this? Can you actually do this? Let's say one of your solution was to fly Jamie from Antarctica down to United States where their kids are. Is this feasible right now? Not during COVID, right? So you probably wouldn't vote for that.
Yep. Okay, great. So once you've done your prioritization grid, it kind of becomes obvious which ideas are the obvious choices. A matrix can help us choose which ideas to explore further, basically. So you've got your no-brainers. These pose the possibility of a technical advantage, so they're both feasible and they're a brilliant idea. Or you can see the innovation in them. So the big bets, they are usually, seem like a really cool idea, but maybe are a bit harder to achieve feasibility-wise. And then your utilities, which represent, what are those representative of, GChan? You refresh my memories.
So they're low impact, but very feasible.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So you might be able to get this done, but it maybe isn't going to really change the game. It's not going to disrupt anything. And don't waste your time, obviously, discussing unwise items. So, for example, ideas that have already been done a million times or that completely aren't feasible at the moment. For example, flying from Antarctica to the US. So that's pretty much the end of design thinking. There is a lot more to it. That's a really brief overview of it, and we're happy to answer any questions, obviously. But some additional thoughts here. When you are doing the mapping of your personas, it's not just users that are going to be interested in your product. You will also have stakeholders. So, for example, in the real world, stakeholders would be people that have maybe given you money to help you develop this idea. They may also be partners that you've decided to partner with. So, for example, if I was building out a simple app that I wanted to make joining up to the internet easier or something, like getting an NBN point installed, I'd probably partner with, say, Telstra or NBN to do that. So they would then be stakeholders, because if they don't buy in, then maybe my app doesn't work. So you got any other examples of stakeholders, GChan? Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty. Partnerships, collaborations, or people who want to invest. Those are the stakeholders. As well as basically the way I understand stakeholder mapping is anyone who is impacted by the solution you're creating. So not just the users, but anybody who's impacted. And maybe that's a great way to kind of think about what kind of stakeholders you want as part of your solution.
And what stakeholders you may need for your solution to be feasible, for example. Yeah. Especially the monetary or partner side, for example. Like if you bring us an app and you say, oh, it's completely feasible and doable, but it's going to take probably 50 grand to develop this app. It's, where are you getting that money from? Or who's going to develop it? So the other thing is having a roadmap, I think. That's probably the other little design thinking secret we want to share, so to speak. Make sure you have a roadmap, so it'll help you scope out what you'd like your users to be able to do and when you'll deliver those experiences. And when you are doing out a roadmap, what you want to do in your hackathon session is to make sure you cover the main point that makes your product unique. So what is it about your product? What is the big idea in it? Make sure you're showing us that big idea in what you deliver at the pitches. Because if you're not, then you've kind of strayed away from, you've strayed away from your prioritization grid, basically. So you need to deliver on just the minimum. What is it that differentiates your product from other people? What makes it unique? What makes it innovative? And then you will no doubt, as you're going down the road of building out this product and thinking about this product and how it's going to be used over the next day and a half, and that's the exciting bit, by the way, you'll no doubt have like so many ideas and some thoughts of who you might partner with, or like how this would be deployed, or where you would go next with it, or where you could take it. The world's your oyster, right? So what you want to do is get those ideas down into, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and themes. So is it a marketing theme? Is this part of development? What are these ideas what categories do they sit under? So a roadmap is a really good way to do that and to show the judges where you would take the product and that you've really thought it through. So, then you can say you nailed it. I actually made this cake on the left, so not bad, right? It's pretty good. And look, I show you this because in a day and a half, there's only so much you can do, right? You might be aiming for the, cake on the right. I totally was, but I had a limited time frame, and this is what I delivered. Look, you can see the similarities. It's pretty good. But your roadmap
is very close.
Your roadmap will show you that you want to get to the one on the right, obviously. So then what happens next? Well, then you get to build it, basically. So that didn't really work out with this one. Anyway, there is one other suggestion I'd like to give everyone here before we finish up, and this isn't part of design thinking, but more about wireframing the ideas that you do come up with. And it's a little online web, like Photoshop, actually. It's an online, it's called Figma, and it allows you to build libraries of reusable components. So you can totally build up a complete accurate wireframe on the web. And that is not the right screen, so I will just find it. So you can have a full prototype going. So I've created basically all the pieces in this map for a map, and then I've linked them together and prototyped them. And if I go back to my files, I might be able to share an actual prototype, potentially, if I can find it. I did have this open a second ago, so sorry, bear with me. That's not it either. Actually think I had it on this screen and it's now. But basically what happens is it up here on figma.com. You'll be able to link it up and it will look like a complete app working. Your buttons will go to places because you connect it to the next screen, etc. So it's a really powerful design thinking or prototyping tool. You can also have more than one person use it at once. So I encourage you to maybe look that up if you are going to do a wireframe for this one. And even if you're not, it's a really great design tool really great design tool for starting your coding as well. You want to know what something's going to look like before you start probably coding it up or cutting it up. So that's just a quick tip from me. I love Figma personally. I use it all the time. So I wanted to show you that. But thank you guys. And if anyone has any questions, please let us know. Have I lost GChan? There she is.
I'm still here. And I'm just checking the chat and Q&A. Very quiet. I'm not seeing anything.
Alrighty then. Well, if anyone has any questions, we will be around for the rest of the day. So please feel free.
Okay. So the question is, will these slides be available?
Yeah, we can make the slides available for you. No problem. So yeah, we'll get them out to you. Otherwise, thanks for listening. I hope you guys got something out of it, and I hope you've got some great ideas coming up. So thank you, everyone, and we will chat soon.
And we'll hand over back to Navia.
Sure.
Thanks, Gloria and Alison. I think we'll just continue hacking, and our next workshop will be at 12:30. So I'll hopefully see you then. Oh, sorry, not 12:30. Yes, 12:30.